For question 14E2, some of you mentioned the GDP or GNI. This is totally rubbish. As I have mentioned for many times, if the question has this phrase, other than the reasons about economic growth, then you can't mention GDP or GNI. What else can you mention? There are only three dimensions in economic development. We have the GDP, GNI, we have the health, and also the education, right? So the only thing you can consider is the health or the education Then you can use your common sense to think about how the trade war would affect the health or the education. So for this question 14E, although I use country B, you should recognize that this is actually talking about the US, the United States, right? The United States invents most of the products, the technology. However, there is a very large trade deficit, and that's why a trade war broke out between the US and also China. And then in that case, you can think about what is the effect of the trade war and so on and so forth on the health and also the education. So with the trade war, actually, country B, that means the US, will have to produce more stuff by itself. That is, the secondary production will increase. And somehow, the secondary production would usually create more pollution, right? Then you can talk about the pollution and talk about the health. So this is one way you answer this question. The second way you answer this question concerns about the education, of course. If the country is only responsible for the invention, then of course the people may have to study very hard. They have to get their university place so that they can be involved in the invention and investigate new technology, right? But if the country can have more manufacturing process, more secondary production, then in that case, the people do not need to receive university education. They can just finish their secondary school and then graduate and find a pretty good job already with pretty good payment. And then in that case, if country B develops more in the manufacturing sector, in secondary production, actually this will have this incentive effect for the people to study in the university. And that's why the education level of the people may decrease.